The kid threw for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran 23 times for 112 yards and 4 touchdowns, Aileen. So he accounted for 6 touchdowns in this game, and they scored. Oklahoma scored 22 points in those 4 overtimes. That's what you want to see in college football. You want to see 2 established programs like Texas and Oklahoma just beat the you-know-what out of each other for as long as is possible, and somebody's going to come out victorious. And luckily for the Oklahoma Sooners, it was them. Otherwise, they would have been 1-3 on the season. So they had to have that victory over the number 22 Texas Longhorns. What a great game that was.
Amazing. Wow. Those are the type of games you want to watch, and they're so exciting. And, I know we're getting it with baseball, October baseball, but that was just phenomenal.
No, college football is where it's at, and thank God they didn't cancel it because they were so close to canceling all college sports and everything due to COVID. But like you said, these are the moments you live for, those quadruple overtimes. That college football is different than NFL. It's a different level of competitiveness that you don't get from other sports. And that's what people love, and that's what people thrive off.
Yes, exactly. And they're just out there going for it, having fun, and they're like, no, and then just bring that extra level. Not that major leagues are not competitive, but this is just in a different level, different platform. But, like you mentioned it, college football and NFL, they're different. One of the things I just want to touch on real quick too is with the overtimes, how different their overtime is. I had so much fun watching this game in overtime and the way the overtime is handled versus NFL and when they go into overtimes. I wish that NFL would do something to where they can have something like the college football overtime, because that was just so exciting and phenomenal to watch. And sometimes with NFL, you don't get that. It kind of feel like it takes away from it the way that they have it constructed now. That's my opinion. That's my thought. What is yours, Aileen?
No, definitely too. And then I feel like NFL doesn't really quite yet. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to do for overtime, because they switch it, so it's like, but I do agree with you. It's like, it's definitely college ball gives you that another level of excitement with the different rules. And definitely, you don't hear about these kinds of stories in NFL. It's kind of like, all right, let's get this over with already. And I feel like it's over so much quicker in NFL than in college football.
Yeah, you got a 10-minute overtime session, and you're like, okay, and you're the Cincinnati Bengals and you're the Philadelphia Eagles, and you played to a tie. And you're like, okay, so you played that overtime period for that. And then we look at Texas, Oklahoma. They play 4 overtimes, and both teams score 36 points in those 4 overtimes. How much more thrilling is that if the NFL adopted that kind of overtime policy? That'd be kind of cool.
Exactly. And one of the things that would help to eliminate, like you said, Ed, the ties. Because sometimes we go into ties, and it's like, okay, you went into all of this for pretty much nothing and to end up pretty much how you started. So I think that's another benefit of having NFL, if they can implement something like college football in that format of how they handle the overtimes. I think that would be great. So just a thought that I would share it.
Good thought.
Good thought. We got to ride over to NFL over here. We got thoughts.
Then let's take it to social media and start a campaign for NFL. But the overtime, and like you said, they're not consistent with it. And they change the rules, or there's always something about it that's changing, and that's one other thing that takes away from it.
Yeah, and they're always changing it because they can't get it right.
Yes, exactly.
They're like, oh, well, if they go get it right, they wouldn't have to change it, right? They're like, no, this works. No, it doesn't work, so they keep changing it.
Yeah. And how exciting as far as college football is concerned, in 2 more weeks, the Big Ten's coming back. They're bringing their football back. So they're coming back, and then the Pac-12 is going to be coming back, I think, in November, right? They're going to kick off their football.
Next month.
Yeah, next month. So now we're going to start getting some really, really good football games because 2 of the Power 5 conferences are going to be back. So that's going to make college football even more exciting.
Yes. And a lot more football to talk about and bring to you guys. So I'm looking forward to that. Another excitement that happened just a couple of days ago.
More excitement?
More excitement.
So much excitement.
Exactly.
After all the ugly.
After all the ugly, yes. So we had the NBA Finals wrap up. That was just wow. Like, My gosh. Game 6, it went to, game 6. That's where it ended. We didn't get to see a game 7. Game 5 was just amazing game. Jimmy Butler, my gosh, he left it all on the court. He left his heart on the court. We saw something different in game 6. We didn't see that game, or at least for me, I expected to see something similar of what game 5 and how they brought out that competitiveness and being more of a fight between the Lakers and the Heat. Fortunately, we saw Lakers just obliterated the Miami Heat. The game was pretty much over as soon as it started because Lakers just went off and took away with it. Congratulations to the Lakers. They won game 6, 106-93. First title in 10 years for the Lakers. This makes it number 17 for them. And this is also LeBron's 4th title with 3 teams. It also comes in the year in which brought some heartache to basketball fans and Laker fans with the loss of Kobe Bryant. But this is something that also brings some enjoyment, some happiness, and some light to the Lakers organization. So, Aileen, what was your thoughts throughout this?
Woo!
Finals?
Lakers won! Okay, let's make it clear. Before I get my Suns fans here saying, oh, what do you mean? You know what? This is a bubble. First of all, I want to say bubble, what an experience. What an experience. Can we play in the bubble all the time? Not because I don't like to go to the games, because that's one thing that I really miss, being there, especially us when we're there at the games, but because I felt like the bubble brought another level of competitive in these guys. They were focused. They were, in the zone. It was definitely more like maybe like a camp feeling rather than like a season feeling. And I don't know. I love seeing the whole like bubble atmosphere. It was more like you say, like a tournament feeling kind of thing. And with Lakers and Heat, I loved that the Heat were able to get this far. It was one of the teams that I had actually said, I was like, no, the Heat will do it. The Heat will do it. I love Goran, like you said, Jimmy Butler as well, and gave it all. A lot of people did not see him get this far. And what we saw in this last game was what we kind of expected. The Lakers to, just run over the Heat. But it didn't happen that way. They didn't even give up that easily, which I love. And I mean, the Lakers, I kind of knew they were like, they had what it takes. They had what it takes. They had a great team. In the bubble, you give LeBron that extra quarantine rest that he needed. That man became 10 years younger. Like he got that. What was it? Mike's magic juice from Space Jam. That's what he got. That's what he got, and he became 10 years younger, and it was just Space Jam, LeBron in this bubble, and there was no way, no stopping him. So I knew, it was like Lakers, no stopping them, but I'm glad that he put up a fight, and I'm happy for them, and I loved bubble basketball.
I thought it was great, too. That was obviously, arguably, the hardest championship that LeBron's ever had. To do with everything that had to go on with the bubble and everything with social justice and everything that just went on outside of the bubble. They had to take all those distractions and put them to the side in order to grind and work and win a world championship. The Lakers 17th, as Joe said, but for LeBron, 28, 14, and 10 in a Game 6 closeout. And when they blew the Miami Heat out in that second quarter, outscored them by 20, you just knew it was LA's night. And they were playing, obviously, for Kobe. They were playing for the Black Mamba. Of course, they wanted to wrap it up in Game 5 because they had the Black Mamba jerseys on. Yeah. But the Miami Heat said, nope, not tonight. We're gonna take you to a Game 6 and possibly a Game 7. But I thought that as soon as the Miami Heat swept the Indiana Pacers in that first round, I knew they were for real. And then they took on Milwaukee, took them out in 5 games, I believe. Then they took out the world champions, the Toronto Raptors. I was like, oh, this Miami Heat team is for real. This is a serious team. Then they took on – no, it was Boston to get to the NBA Finals. But my goodness, is the future not bright in Miami? In your adopted city, Aileen, is the future not bright for the Miami Heat? with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy and Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Those 2 young men, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, grew up right before our very eyes in that bubble. They're not rookies anymore. They play like absolute veterans. They played like LeBron was in his 17th year. That's how much heart that they had. They had no fear going up against anybody in that bubble. You can even tell those were rookies. So yes, the Heat, they missed Goran Dragic. That was a big part of their offense. He was their offensive leader, and for them to lose him, That was a big loss for them. But even regardless behind that, they didn't take that as an excuse. Nobody felt bad for them. They know nobody felt bad. The Lakers didn't feel bad for them. They went out and played as hard as they could, but it was the Lakers' year. LeBron and AD and that supporting cast, of course it was a Lakers year, and congratulations to them for getting championship number 17, LeBron's 4th championship in 3 years. So the question is LeBron's 4 championships better than Mike's 6 with the Bulls?
Oh, and the debate starts.
And the debate, the ugly starts. I mean, there were 3 different teams. You know, there were different teams with LeBron. I feel like they're good in different levels. For me, they're both great. King, the GOAT, we got it.
And for the fact that he's done it for 17 years, and he has not slowed down at all, Aileen and Joe. 35 years old, LeBron is still balling. So if they keep this Lakers team together, there's no reason why they can't win a championship next year. LeBron can't get his 5th. And if they stay together even longer, there's no reason why they can't get maybe 6 or 7 before he retires. Then the debate really starts if he's greater than MJ.
Then the debate starts.
Yes. Let's get to that.
Get
and then
6 rings, LeBron.
Yes, definitely.
He might even be playing with his kid at 6, trying to chase that 6th ring, you know. But I guess MJ was one of like the first guys that we saw flying through the air, you know. It's like you can't really, you know, get that same, I feel like, adrenaline. It's like, okay, there's another dunk here, you know, as like, wow. But yeah, it's a little different. But like I said, I was so happy because I'm like, I knew this year, because with Kobe, how it happened, you know, that's why I was like, I'm glad that the Lakers won. It was their year.
Definitely. And this ties Lakers with Boston Celtics for the most titles won for NBA Finals. Also marks LeBron's 28th playoff triple-double. And is this going to be one of the most, if not the most, one of the most memorable NBA Finals for being that they played, it was done in a bubble setting amidst the pandemic. And, you know, and everything that just came along with it. You know, it just, performance-wise, playoffs, and the way that it just came about on top of that.
Yes, definitely. And then plus all the social injustice things that happened with the protests, players sitting out, players out in protest. Like, it was 2020, man. It was 2020 happening, and they still managed to pull through and get that championship. And for Kobe.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, for Kobe. What a crazy year. Obviously the longest NBA season in history with the pandemic and them putting it on hold. But I think this will go down, even though the TV ratings didn't show that there was much interest in this series. It will go down as probably the most memorable NBA Finals for me. Like you said, Aileen, with everything that went on outside of the bubble and everything that went on inside the bubble. It was clearly the weirdest season we've ever seen, and hopefully we won't ever see a season like this again. Hopefully next season they'll get back to actually traveling and playing in their own respective cities. We would love for that to happen, because I'm sure the players do not want to go through another bubble situation ever again.
It was like survival of the fittest. Yeah.
Exactly what it was.
How many? You only have one life. How many are you going to use, you know?
Thank you very much, Aileen. This was fun as always. How can we have our listeners and our viewers get a hold of you?
Oh, well, thank you guys so much again for having me on this show. You know, I like to come on and talk and get excited and argue about sports. I love it. I love being on the show with you guys. For all of you, please follow me at Aileen, AILEN_TV on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook, Aileen Carrasco.
Awesome. Ed.
For me, on Instagram at Edward Cole 301 and Twitter at EdCole43, and Facebook, look me up, Edward Cole. Find me.
Go ahead and go find these two. They're amazing. And of course, don't forget to follow us in Insight Sports Talk or Insights Network at Instagram. It's Insight Sports Net. On Twitter, it's Insight Sports with an extra S at the end. And you can also follow me, Johanna-Rosalye, on both Twitter and Instagram at JROSALYE. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in and listening. Until next week, have a great week.